Hello there friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum and today I'll be giving a first-time reaction to the Russian band Grai. We're going to listen to 3 of their songs back to back to back, which should give us a pretty good idea of what they are like sonically, and for each of these tracks today, we're also going to be doing a lyrical deep dive, which should give us some meaning. And interestingly, these songs are all in Russian. I don't know how to read Russian, or at least, okay, I should correct myself. I can read the Russian alphabet and therefore like piece together the words, but I know basically none of the vocabulary. So actually reading out the words, even if I pronounce them phonetically, I have no idea what they mean. So we're going to be doing the lyrical deep dive in English for all of these tracks today, and that should work out well for us. The first song is going to be in the arms of Mara. The second is a song of Dead Water, and then the last track we're going to be checking out today is called Farewell. I'm excited to jump into this as always because I love discovering new music on the channel, and that is all thanks to Michael the Bluesy for making this request today. As always, Michael, I appreciate all of your support. But now, long intro aside, let's jump into the music. We're going to start with In the Arms of Mara. A flute. Feels very like almost like a folk kind of song. Oh. This is like, I'm about to march into war. Oh my god. The soaring vocals. What? Oh my god. Bro. Bro, I will march into any war listening to this song. Let's go. Oh my god. This is a very, very minor point, but I love the way that these 2 vocalists are kind of panned. It's like one vocalist is directly in front of me, the other is like, I don't know, facing like 10 o'clock or something. They're right there, they're adjacent, but they're not equal either because I'm not hearing it in my right headphone. All that to say, it's almost like worthless saying what I just did because of how huge this mix is in regards to these heavy drums, heavy guitar, heavy bass, that at the 30-second mark, I believe it was, just completely took over the song. And then to transition into the string section, and then the strings kind of convert into the voices that are soaring and beautiful, that is something special. We found something great today. expensive. Whoa, in that moment, was that a string instrument or was that the singer? Right there. Right in that moment, was that her singing that? The meaty bass. It's like we're in full medieval territory. We're getting Blackmore's Night in here, the Knights of Cyanodia, the Round Table, Stronghold Crusader, all of that and more. Been loving this flute throughout this track. Flute breakdown. Oh my god. There's more. Dude, this song is absolutely lighting my whole brain on fire. Wow, what an experience this has been. I cannot believe it. Was this folk metal? Whatever this was, yes. Yes to that. That is so gosh darn good. You know, it takes many years to discover great music like this, and I have the distinct honor of being requested so many amazing songs. God, this one just has so much power to it. I love at the end that little moment of the vocal layer underneath the already super pleasant soaring folk vocals that I was accustomed to listening to this track. Then we got the growls at the end to add that extra intensity and emphasis on the already very intense song. Literally feels like a war chant. That was superb. Thank you very much. And, we have to experience that potentially 2 more times. Dude, I feel like my heart rate, okay, taking a look, literally my heart rate. Oh my gosh, what a great selection. Let's take a look at the lyrics for this song and see if we can digest what we just heard. White winter came without asking, severe she came, covered all around with silver snow. Turned my soul and heart to ice, chained the river with frozen tears. Already, the framing of winter as something potentially malevolent that's keeping you chained and causing you tears is very ominous. And winter can be scary like that. And the song, for all intents and purposes, is momentarily frightening with how intense it could become. White winter brought ill thoughts. Sun hidden, there's a full moon in the sky. In the twilight I wonder, hearing death creep silently, snowy tempest whistles and swirls rapidly. I'm not even sure if this is a correct analysis here, but these 2 lines almost remind me a little bit of seasonal depressive disorder. Because there's like less vitamin D available if you're in the sun less, and there's less sun, then you become more depressed or sadder during the winter seasons, bringing ill thoughts. It could be literal like that, but it could also be more symbolic. And death creeping silently, so something bad is coming. Relentless winter housed coldness in the heart. Cold she came without asking. Brought sorrow, took all my will away. Yeah, again, it's sort of like anthropomorphizing winter. It's bringing coldness, bringing despair, sorrow. It doesn't care for you. It doesn't ask for your permission. Winter will do unto you what it wants. So almost even outside of evil or good, it's almost about this winter being impersonal and being impersonal and such a threatening force all the same. White winter, snowy fir trees shake in wind, and fierce winter in the heart doesn't come to an end. Blizzard knocked on the window unexpectedly. Yep, so the intensity here is rising. Cruel winter, and I can't sleep. The blizzard hypnotized my soul. Winter took away my beloved friend. Evil winter's sorcery ruined his soul. Cruel winter took him into the arms of Mara. Wow, that is very, very poetic. It seems like in this situation, if taken more literally, that there was a friend that he had that succumbed to this dark winter, all of the sorrow it brought, and lost his life. We don't know explicitly how, but it ruined his soul, and now I think he's returning into the arms of Mara, maybe some kind of celestial, godlike figure. That is a very almost sad ending to this, actually, because the winter itself, it is an analogy. It can be used for many possible interpretations and applications, but here it ruined his soul and took him away forever. He's corrupted at the very least, but it seems even more dire than that. Wow. that is a deep song. I may have gotten some of the interpretation wrong here, but paired that with the melody and what intensity we heard in that track, we are in for a good triple reaction, let me tell you. Let's jump into the second song here. This is Song of Dead Water. That's a cool riff. Whip out the flute again. it's like I don't even need to hear the rest of the song because I already know it is so good. And I'm getting so many flashbacks now to Nightwish, who I did a ton of reactions to earlier on this year. Absolutely love that group. Almost reminds me a bit of like that kind of vibe, Celtic rock here. But with that flute, with the heavy thrashing, it almost feels like its own separate genre and niche, even though tangentially related to Nightwish. But imagine like a Floor and Grai consolidation. The little tame growls in the arms of Mara did not prepare me at all for this. Wow. All I can say is wow. The dissonance in these guitar phrases, these two notes, it's crazy. She's hyping it up, oh my god. I can't. Oh my lord. I don't think I can say anything. And I should. I need to say something. If you ever like see a man like that with hair like that on a stage like that, expect to throw your head around. There's no getting around it. That was like the perfect song for like just thrashing my head around. What an like energetic release that song was, and it felt like at moments I was just being kept in this like melodic gravy the entire time. There wasn't a single moment where I would jump out of that amazing epic feeling. It was just 5 minutes straight of nonstop musical ecstasy. I loved every second of it. There was so much dynamically that we heard, from the insane growls to the guitar work to the flute soloing over this almost like Celtic rock feel, but then at times metal gallop feel. So much happened in the last 5 minutes. I don't think I have it all in my brain. I think I'll have to literally listen to this song fully again to pick up even more of the subtleties in this in this track, because that was something special. So let us take a look at the lyrics and figure out what they were about. These ones are rather short in comparison, but let's do our due diligence here. The sky grows cold with a dim pool of fading water. An unmourned shadow pulled his hands across gloomy firs. In the dead water you hear the song. Wow. A moan of winds, an echo of ancient forests quietly stepping on the overgrown path. In the grim darkness of the river into the void of the hole. I feel like I have to just stop right there and try to soak some of that in. Because it almost feels like I have no idea what's going on. An unmourned shadow pulled his hands across gloomy firs. Pulling his hands. That's an interesting way to put that as well. I don't even know what that means. In the dead water you hear the song. Moan of winds. So everything is definitely referencing something dead, unmourned, grows cold in the dead water, a moan of winds. It's like it's a reference to the reference, basically. It's once removed, an echo of the ancient forests, right? It's all reminiscent, but also potentially morbid. Quietly stepping on the overgrown path in the grim darkness of the river into the void of the hole. So this is almost like you're traveling into this void. It seems like it's a bit of a passing of the shadow. Deep longing, yes, longing, dark to get to the bottom. You know, I can't believe this, I think, was being sung by the metal screams, by the way. I feel like that is just now clicking in my brain. What is going on? The dawn will burn with black ash in the fog and ice. Tart in the silence of the ash gray, cover my mound, cry for me, call me a song in the pitch night. Song of dead water. It's almost like it's the dead song, right? To reference in the dead water you hear the song. So maybe it's something to do with like a watery grave. But then the line, tart in the silence of the ash gray, cover my mound. I guess the ash gray is the color of the water, potentially. The dead water. Gloomy firs, dim pool. So I think it is more of a watery grave, and it's about like reminiscing and mourning this life. Cry for me, call me a song in the pitch night. And this would be the song to call them by. That's my best interpretation at this one. Again, it feels very poetically dense, and I'm not sure if there's like external context that I need to understand it. So I think that'll be my attempt at Song of the Dead Water here. But we still have one more to check out. Let's jump into Farewell. This has been a crazy, crazy reaction for me. An acoustic guitar start. Never heard anybody. It sounds like a religious hymn almost. I gotta say, Michael, hats off to you for the selection and the order that you put these songs in, because we started in this very epic and massive place, and then we traveled into a different dimension of dynamics, of heaviness, of thrash metal, but then of amazing, elegant melodies. And then here we are in an acoustic rendition. I guess I should have mentioned in the second one we had amazing screams and growls there. But now we have like the acoustic version of their vibe, of their sound. And it's almost like, for me, like a good litmus test for if an artist is amazing is many things, but one of those things includes being able to strip down your instrumentation, make the mix quieter, do an acoustic rendition of your own music. And if that still sounds good or even better, that's a great artist. Grai is a great artist. Grai is a great artist. Oh my god. And then my camera dies. So they don't really have bass. At least in this song they don't. It's an interesting choice. That is so interesting. Wow. And then it's back to the, yeah. That is remarkably interesting. I don't know, it's like I heard an acoustic version of them, but the acoustic version of them does not sound like the average acoustic version of any other song, really. To me, this is like, even like some steps removed from Blackmore's Night. I don't know exactly how. I think maybe it's different in the style of vocal melody. Blackmore's Night vocal melodies tend to be very bright and almost major sounding at times, like a musical theater-esque performance. But this felt more, again, folk is the word that just keeps returning to my mind. It was a very, very interesting listen. Just all around, each of these tracks gave me something different, which it's hard to do that, actually. You know, oftentimes when you as an artist, you find your sound, a lot of the music can sometimes sound very similar to itself. Each of these songs brought with it new characteristics that just make me think Grai has a lot more to offer than even what I've experienced today. But let's take a look at the final lyrics. I want to make sure we actually understand what farewell was all about. So we start grass. There we go. Grass will turn red from the glare of sunlight. Southern winds fanning the flames so fast. Morning birds soar in their silent flight. My hand squeezes a handful of the past. This song is almost like a cycle of life, is what's being described here. Sunset will leave lasting scars on the heart. A groan scares away magpies from branches. And thunderous rooks clouds will start, in the rustle of drops to scatter your ashes. I don't know. Drops to scatter your ashes, so it does feel like there is death and mourning here. Mourning birds also coming into play. My hand squeezes a handful of the past. So if you're like holding a corpse's hand, for example, that would be squeezing a handful of the past. I don't know if that's happening here, but it's also like if I have to scatter your ashes and I'm holding your ashes, maybe that's the distinction there. If I'm holding your ashes, then that's the past that I'm squeezing, and now I'm trying to scatter them. It could be. With wolf packs going into the distance, my thoughts are with you. Don't regret anyway. Behind the veil of rain and silence, your very long journey is written by fate. Yeah, so it does feel like, we lost somebody else. It seems like a lot of these songs are about life and death and mourning and grief. So the wolf pack, it's going in the distance, and hey, that is actually you. You are the wolf running into the distance. Time stood still, and it's so empty inside. Goosely, a stringed instrument similar to dulcimer, will cool the farewell pain. Don't look back, stepping at midnight, salt of oblivion, the eyes will retain. Huh. So the instrument will cool down the farewell pain. So the instrument will help soothe your nerves and help you heal from this pain of loss. Don't look back, stepping at midnight, salt of oblivion, the eyes will retain. I'm not exactly sure what salt of oblivion the eyes will retain would be. But I think in this section it's almost talking about, the past is the past. This person, we cared for them. They are now gone. It's best not to think on it longer than that. Sunset will leave lasting scars on the heart. A groan scares away magpies from branches, and thunderous rooks clouds will start, and the rustle of drops to scatter your ashes. Wow. So also then in the poetic sense, the sunset is then the loss of life, and that will leave those lasting scars. So it's better not to focus on it, because the pain that we're going to feel from that loss is to be felt forever anyway. So we shouldn't look back constantly, because it's always going to be there. It seems to be at least a possible interpretation here. What's certainly clear to me is that there is a lot of death happening in the world of Grai. I don't know why exactly that is, but sad boy music is always fun, but when it's this heavy and dynamic, even with the acoustic version, which it's a different song, but the acoustic song, I like what I heard from Grai. I would definitely be down to hear more. So if you would like to make a request for Grai, or really any other band for that matter, you can do so by clicking the first link in the description box below. It's been a pleasure listening to Grai with you all today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, and peace.